Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're gearing up to tackle the music education competencies on your upcoming exam, you've probably noticed a pretty frustrating trap. Well, today we're going to untangle what I literally call the ultimate cheat code for these standards, the triad of musical context and heritage. See, this triad focuses on three highly related yet totally distinct competencies that constantly trip up test takers. But don't worry, by the end of our time together, you're going to know exactly how to pull them apart. Here is our roadmap for today. We're looking at the Triad framework, then breaking down descriptors D, E, and G, and wrapping up with a side-by-side exam clarifier. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the Triad framework, because acknowledging this common trap is definitely step 1. So here's the fundamental illusion with these competencies. In a real, living classroom, they are totally blended together. I mean, you might play a Texas blues song, talk about the specific instruments used, and discuss its historical purpose literally all at the same time. But the exam? The exam assesses completely different analytical lenses for each one of those things. You have to know exactly which lens the test question is asking you to look through. To quickly decode what a question is actually getting at, you just need to filter it through three basic questions. Are they asking, how does it sound? Are they asking, why is it used? Or are they asking, what tradition does it represent? Let's move on to section 2, descriptor D, musical styles, and unpack exactly what this one means for you. The academic anchor you need here is genre, a category of music characterized by shared features. When you see that phrase, shared features, I want you to think about the actual physical sounds hitting your eardrums. We're talking about the specific instrumentation, that driving rhythm, the tempo, the overall mood. It's all about the sound itself. In your classroom, imagine the jarring yet wonderful contrast of playing a sweeping classical symphony and then immediately following it up with a lively mariachi band. Your goal as an educator in that moment is to get students actively listening and comparing those tangible shared features we just talked about so they can categorize the styles. Now, if an exam question asks something like, what features suggest this piece is a folk dance? Listen, that word features is a giant neon sign pointing straight to descriptor D. You aren't analyzing history or culture here. You are strictly analyzing the notes on the page and the sounds in the room. So the big takeaway for descriptor D is that it's all about recognizing similarities and differences based purely on how the music actually sounds. Your students need to experience incredible diversity, sure, but the focus is on identifying those specific, tangible musical elements. Let's switch gears to section 3, descriptor E, social roles, where we shift away from the sheet music completely. The core term you absolutely have to lock into your memory here is social function. Music is rarely just background noise, right? It serves a specific, active purpose within a community. Honestly, it is the soundtrack to our cultural identity. For example, when you're examining American spirituals, you wouldn't just tap out the rhythm and call it a day. You would explore how the music acted as a historical lifeline. It reflected the deep, lived experiences and the profound emotions of the people who created it. You're teaching your students that music is quite literally a vessel for history. Think about hearing just the first few notes of Pump and Circumstance. We all instantly know exactly what's happening. If a question asks, why might this song be performed at a graduation ceremony, you are solidly in descriptor E territory. Whether it's a graduation, a protest, a worship service, or a wedding, the music is performing a social action. So whenever the exam focuses on what the music does for people, acting as a mirror for beliefs, history, or even personal milestones, you are dealing with descriptor E. It's all about broad social, cultural, and personal purposes. Moving right along to section 4, descriptor G. Texas heritage, where we zoom in on the regional map. The academic focus here is cultural influence. This is about recognizing the direct impact that a culture has on artistic expression within a very clearly defined geographic area, like the state of Texas or the United States as a whole. Think of it as the regional fingerprint left on the music. In practice, this means you aren't just putting on some Texas country, blues, or Tejano music just to listen to it. You're tracing its roots. You are essentially acting like a musical historian. You're examining how different immigrant and native groups historically blended their distinct sounds to build that unique, localized regional identity.
If an exam question asks, how does this song reflect Texas musical heritage? Well, it's asking straight out about regional and national identity. The very second you see a specific geographic location mentioned, or a question asking about how cultures blended to create a localized tradition, you have undeniably found the descriptor G. No doubt about it.
Your main takeaway here? Regional musical heritage literally tells the story of the state. It proves that our local music is the direct, beautiful results of incredible historical blending and deep cultural diversity.
All right, Section 5, the side-by-side exam clarifier. Let's bring everything we've talked about together so it truly clicks for test day. Here is your perfect synthesis of the triad. Descriptor D strictly focuses on musical characteristics, how it sounds. Descriptor E focuses on the social action, when and why it's used, and descriptor G focuses on regional and national identity, the specific geographic and cultural tradition it represents.
And hey, here is a quick pro tip. If you ever get stuck on the exam trying to choose between descriptor E and descriptor G, just remember this. E looks at the broad human ritual, like a wedding or a protest. G looks at the map, zooming in on specific geographic identities and historical timelines.
Now, beyond just passing your exam, why does all this actually matter? Because understanding the physical sound, the social purpose, and the regional history independently allows you to teach music with incredible depth. It helps you build a truly rich, culturally responsive classroom that gives diverse traditions the ultimate respect they deserve.
Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. As you prep for your exam, and eventually your own future classroom, I want to leave you with this final thought. Will you listen to music as just notes on a page? Or will you use this triad to hear the rich, societal story behind every single song? Keep exploring, you're going to do great.